Hi guys, welcome to Intent. I'm your host Ronlyn. Today I have Thabiso Madonsela with us. He's going to be speaking about his family business. It's him, his parents, and his siblings who are running the family business. He's one of the people that play a key role in running the family business. The family business is called Amathimande Group, and they are in the agriculture space. They sell and produce crops. And Thabiso is going to tell us a little bit more about that, including the importance of generating family wealth, which is one of the main goals. Hi,
Sorry.
Thabiso.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Mm, I'm all right.
And I
What would
also
you like to know?
a lot, but I also forgot. I forgot to mention that he's also an accountant. He's also helped in any business.
Mhm.
Our last episode, we had a CA, and he also emphasized that it does assist a lot. So we'll
Mhm.
also be speaking more about also the important roles family members play in the business and also embracing whatever they've studied professionally or whatever skills and talents they have and having that on board to benefit the business. Okay,
Mhm.
so we're going to have an icebreaker. I have a
Mhm.
bit of the flu, so please don't mind me for cough here and there.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
So, okay, the icebreaker. Um, can you describe yourself as a partner in the business in one word?
In one word.
Yes, one word. Yes.
Um, hmm, Interesting. I've never thought of it like that. In one word, point of contact or behind the scenes. You're on mute. Your mic is off.
So I was saying that's not one word, but we'll go with um,
Ah,
point of reference. Um, yeah.
okay. One word would be resourceful.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. 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 Is that something that your siblings and parents would agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, they would.
Okay. Okay. And then because you're working with family, one word to describe yourself as a family member.
One word to describe myself as a family member would be the older brother
Mhm.
or older brother or brother.
Okay. Again. Okay, we've established that you are the brother. I think we've established that. But in terms
But
of character, in terms
in
of
terms
what
of
you
character,
bring to
laid
the
back,
family.
laid back.
Okay. So we have resourceful and laid back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're the laid back, resourceful partner and brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So you can give us a brief background on Amathimande Group. Yeah?
It's Amathimande.
Amathimande.
Yebo. Perfect. So the company was formed in 2017, September, and what we do is, or what we did at the time, we still do it though,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's not at the large scale as it used to be. We work closely with the Department of Agriculture, and what we do is that I'll give you a scenario. Actually, I think that'll be the best way to explain who Amathimande is and how it was formed and what it actually does. So, say for example, you have a farm and you do not have the tools, or you have land and you don't have the tools to actually cultivate the land, plow, plant, disc, harvest. So then what we then do is, or what you would then do is that you would then speak with your local Department of Agriculture, and this is in KZN. So our business is based in KZN. So you go to your Department of Agriculture, you'll speak to them, you'll tell them that you have land and what your intentions are or what you'd want to do on your land. And then what they would do is then they'll contact me, and they'll tell us that they have X number of farmers or individuals that have land that they would like to utilize. And then we would then go out to your site or your farm, and then we'll provide you with the services and the means for you to actually be able to grow your own crop. So what we do is we'll then come out with our tools, and we will plow your land, we will prepare it for planting, and then once that is done, we then come back, provide you with some pesticides if you need pesticides. If you're an organic farm, obviously we'll then utilize those organic compliant pesticides, meaning your what you call it thing, your mulch. Will provide you with mulch, and then that can then be used as pesticides. Then once your crop is ready for harvest, it depends on if you want us to actually help you harvest, because we do have those equipment to harvest. So then what we'll do is that we will come out, harvest for you, and then give you your produce, because that is your produce at the end of the day. We will not be selling it out for you, even though some have asked us to sell it on their behalf. And then basically, yeah, that's and then it's just repeat and rinse basically. Each season we do the same thing. And the seasons are obviously end of the year and beginning of the year. And then yeah, that's Amathimande in a nutshell. And then further from those services that we provide to local communities or local members of the community, we also plant for ourselves. We plant your sugar beans and white corn, yellow corn. We have livestock as well, and produce that and sell it direct to customers. We don't distribute it through your local shops like your Spars and your Pick and Pays. But yeah, we produce and sell directly to the clients or customers. So basically, the scenario is you have land, you don't have the tools or the means to utilize your land. You will then speak to the Department of Agriculture. What then they do is they'll then contract me to come out to your site or your farm, and we will then prepare your land. We'll plow it, we'll disc it, we'll plant it, and then your regular maintenance being watering and the watering part. That's on you as the owner of your farm. And then when it comes to harvesting, in most cases, some people don't have, they still don't have, or they still wouldn't have means to harvest the crops that have been planted on their farm. We can then come out and harvest for you. And then once that harvest is done, you will then have to sell or use the produce from your land however you see fit. If you want to sell it to the market, that's up to you. If you want to ship it through distributing channels, that's on you as well. And then apart from us providing services to your local members of the community, we also produce for ourselves that we sell off. And then we
Okay.
sell those direct to customers.
So right now you guys are solely working with the individual directly with no mediator like your mainstream stores at the
Correct.
moment.
Correct.
Um, okay, but it's interesting. So you guys help with the plowing, like fertilizing the soil. So starting them off and then they
So
take it
from
from.
so so it'd be from scratch. So you have your piece of land and you'd like to use it. I'll come out there and I'll prepare it. We'll disc it over a couple of weeks, or plow it over a couple of weeks and then disc it and then plant it, fertilize, and then we'll also provide pesticide for the first week
Mm,
because your weeds generally grow back around that time there while your fertilizer is still settling into your soil. And then we'll come out,
mm,
we'll spray pesticides. For those obviously that want to utilize pure organic farming, they will then have to source mulch, and then we can get people to lay that in and around where we plant it so that it keeps the weeds at bay. Um, and then harvest season comes around, you harvest it, or we can also help in terms of harvesting. But there, generally, the local community will actually come and put hands together, and because the harvesting section of it is not that hectic, and a lot of the people that we service, they don't really have large hectares of land where you'll need industrial machines to actually harvest. So they can do it
mm.
by hand, or just by getting a number of members within the community and going out and harvesting for themselves. Is it in? Since the forming of the business, like I said, that it's a group of companies, or it's a main it's a parent company. It's not only limited to agriculture. I've added other um disciplines to the business that it actually can operate and or actually um do, so that it's not only limited to agriculture.
So you do have, I can say, like a 9 to 5 separate from the family business.
Right. To be honest with you, at least in my experience,
Mm,
I can only speak for me. There is no balance.
mm,
And so 9 to 5, obviously, I'm at the office, I'm working. And then from six
mm.
o'clock, when I get home, we then start focusing on the business, the family business, and we push that. There isn't much of a balance. You find balance where you can. So it's not, what I can say is that the family business doesn't demand that much for me to constantly every day without fail clocking. You'll find that it's self-sustained because there's other people that run that focus on it on full time, and then it's only when I am required, or my siblings decide here in Joburg that we are then required to provide remote assistance, then that's when we actually step in.
Okay. So it helps. Like the more hands on deck, the easier it is for everyone, I guess,
The
in
more
terms
hands
of
on
the
deck,
tax.
it's not necessarily more hands on deck, but the more people are committed to the goal,
Mm,
the better it is for everyone else. It's all about it's mindset basically.
mm,
So if you know that you have a trait or a skill that you know can help alleviate stress based on your background. And when I say background, I mean what you studied in varsity. Like I studied accounting, So each person has a role that they need to fulfill, and it's not an if or a maybe or I'm tired, I don't want to do it. It needs to get done. That's the motto
mm,
that has somewhat been instilled in us.
mm. So you've been working with your family for a while now. So in terms
Right.
of expectations, because I know some people might be like, oh my gosh, we're gonna work together, we family, we grew up together, things are gonna be smooth sailing,
You
everything
see,
is just gonna be.
it's
So
just
has
going to flow. It does not
in
work
terms
that way.
of in terms of reality, what you've seen, what you've experienced as the laid back, resourceful person, um, have your expectations, if you've had any, um, been met or exceeded, or what has it been like working with family? Is there some things where it was like, oh, I didn't expect that, or it's like, okay, no, I prepared myself for that. You understand? So,
The
in
one,
terms of, mm,
yeah, the one thing I can say that we had to sort of learn the hard way as kids, you may have an idea or a way, or you may have an idea of how something should be implemented. And then
mm,
what then happens is that voicing that or telling your parents
mm,
that the way that they are thinking of executing something um may not work, and that the vision that you have is the correct way.
mm,
That gap between parent
mm,
and child, we had to
mm,
learn that we had to learn it the hard way, that you need to separate family and business. Because when we are working and it's business, it's business. If I see that you're doing
mm,
something incorrectly, you are doing it incorrectly. I tell you. We're not fighting as family, we're fighting the problem that we are facing in business. And once the business
mm,
meeting is over, it's back to us as family. That is one distinct um, point that you need to ascertain early on in starting your family business, because
mm,
it leads to resentment in terms of you feel as though you are not heard, um, and that your ideas and your suggestions are taken lightly, negating the fact that you have
mm,
experience in whatever it is that you are speaking on, you know. So that there, we
mm,
had to learn that, hey, listen, it's family time now, it's family time. Fine, cool, let's enjoy family time. It's business, doing business. We can fight, and it's not that I'm fighting you as a person or as an individual, but we are trying to work towards the common goal that is the business.
mm,
And expectation wise, I won't lie. Expectations have they've somewhat changed. Some aspects within running the business, I've seen from a family perspective, that it has brought us much closer.
mm,
Why do I say that? It You see, that bridge I was talking about between parent and child, and
mm,
siblings amongst each other, you find that some of those attributes that you implement when you are working, it bleeds into your family as family time. You find it more easier to share or voice whatever personal issues that you may have. You find it
mm,
easier to communicate amongst each other. It bridges the gap of, yeah, we can't tell our parents this because of one, two, three.
Mm,
We are now more
mm,
transparent in sharing finances.
mm,
Um, and it just made it a lot more easier to communicate as a family, and that has somewhat brought us much closer together, because you now understand that it's not a grudge that you have on anyone, and it's not animosity that you have on anyone, but it's whatever it is that you're trying to deal with, that you're trying to resolve.
mm. No, that's wonderful. That really is, because not every family can relate, especially in terms
Okay.
of establishing those grounds to say that, you know what, whatever we discuss regarding the business stays within the business. It's not to say
Correct.
it's not a personal attack to you. It's just regarding the business. But how do you establish that? Because everyone has different personalities. Everyone takes things differently. So how do you establish that? Is it based off of how you guys were raised, your values, your morals? What is the basis?
Most of it, I'll say, it's based on how we were raised. Um, and why do I say that? Um, Growing up, my dad always used to, how can I put it? If you wanted something growing up as a kid, you had to
Mm,
create some sort of like a pitch. You had to pitch it to him. You had to, you had
mm,
to sell yourself and the idea of what it is that you want.
mm,
And that I would say is because of his sales background. My mother, on the other
mm,
hand, you needed to be able to articulate your idea, show your thought process, and be able to prove your case that this is the way to go, or this is what I need and this is why I need it. Either, well, if you say, for example, you needed a PC at home. I remember when we wanted a computer as kids, we basically wanted it to
mm,
play games on. But the idea that was pitched to the parents was that it's for school, it's for research, it'll help on basically being able to produce better marks at school. So, and it was used for that, but 99% of the time it was used for games. But
mm,
so it's so in growing up in an environment of that nature, it allows us to then be able, when we're now in business, it allows us to actually articulate it in that fashion. um so 99,
mm,
not 99, but 90%, it's how we were raised. And the other 10%, I would say, it's based on general life experience. And I mean, your siblings, and how you manage them. You grew up together. You know what, when you're pushing your sisters or your brothers' buttons, you know what ticks them off. And it when now comes to business, it's, how to people manage, if I can put it in that way. It's basically people management. You know how each person operates and how they take certain um criticism, be it constructive or deconstructive. But yeah, that's what makes it nice, is that you already know each other. It's not that you're trying to learn a completely new person than you would be in corporate. Ronlin, you still there?
yes, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah. No, no, I definitely hear you in terms of, you knowing your siblings and knowing how to manage them. I mean, these are people that you grew up with your whole life.
yeah,
So
it's people
it
you grew up
makes,
with your whole life, and it's not manipulation. Don't get me wrong. It's not manipulation in any way, shape, or form. But you know how. you know how, if a person is sensitive, you know what ticks them off, and you know how to appease
Mm,
it, or rectify it, or make it easier for them to understand whatever it is. Um, yeah, it's not like you're learning someone new.
yes, yes. But it makes perfect sense because of how, as you said, how you guys were raised. You guys were
Correct.
basically groomed into the roles that y'all have now.
Yes, very much so. In fact, nail and hammer on it. Tail and donkey
Yes,
at the right place.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like your parents knew exactly what they were doing from the beginning. They knew this is the vision and this is how it
Yeah, I mean,
begins in order for us to get there.
yeah. I mean, what I can say is sales. I can't say that I started sales or finance when I was in varsity or high school. For me, that started off as a 8, 9 year old kid. Um, because my mom, just a little background.
Okay.
She's a seamstress, and
Mm,
she used to make pillows and continentals. You know those big pillows that you put as decorative and whatnot on your, yeah. And I used to sell those. We would go
mm,
cold call, knock door to door, and would sell those. And the finances from that, we were then taught how to manage that. We knew how to separate finances that come or generated from sales and finances for the home, because we knew that the sales that are or the revenue that's generated from selling of those pillows and those clothes and whatever it is that we're producing at the time, that is solely for the function of that. So if we needed more equipment or more materials, that money is taken not from the business, not from the business, not from the family, but it's taken out from
mm,
the sales that are generated. And in that way, if and when um if and when you needed to invest more into your business, you knew that I have X amount of money that I've generated from whatever it is that I did, and it's
mm,
sitting there and it's just waiting for me to utilize it or make it grow even further. And that was from a young age, and all of us basically came from that background.
mm, mm. Okay. So you come from parents that are very business minded,
Correct.
that exposed you guys to business at a very young age. And I'm sure hoping
Correct.
that you guys would take the knowledge that you guys have acquired from a young age and utilize it in your adult life, which you guys are doing.
And we
So
do.
bravo to them.
And we do. And we do.
Especially raising like quite a few kids. Like it's a big achievement. Um,
Yeah.
it's a very big achievement.
Mm.
It really is, especially because have you guys have studied across different fields and you guys are utilizing the skills and the knowledge that you guys have acquired in those different fields to benefit the company.
And that is
So
100% true.
mm,
Because and it's and just because you studied finance or marketing or law, that doesn't mean that you are only solely responsible for that functioning within the business. Um,
mm,
Everyone's role is crossbred. Um, I may find myself doing not finance, doing marketing. I may find myself
mm,
doing operations. I may find myself doing sales. Um, and whoever studied accounting, not accounting, marketing, can find themselves doing accounting. They may find themselves doing all the other functionalities within the business, because
mm,
And that was from us as kids, where we had a meeting, and this wasn't involving our parents, but the one thing that we discovered was a knowledge gap between um whatever it is that you're trying to explain. Say you are saying that, say you studied marketing and you're trying to get us to start advertising on Google Space, or your digital marketing, or your normal traditional outdoor media. Um, in order for you to help me understand the value of that, I need to know marketing.
Mm.
And if I'm telling you from an accounting perspective that we need to have a budget of XYZ, we need to work on margins and profits or gross profit margins on whatever it is, and we need to set the percentage at whatever rate that we're working on, you need to understand what those margins are. If I'm telling
Mm.
you that we need to capitalize these costs onto the cost of the goods that we're producing, you need to understand why are we even doing that. We don't just
Mm.
stump suck figures. If I say I'm selling a 4 kg or a 5 kg bag of corn at 150 Rand, you need to understand what are the components that fit into that. So I need to then explain it to you. I need to teach you basically accounting so that you understand what it is. And you'll find that anyone and everyone can sort of do everyone else's role, even though it won't be to the T, but they will be able to push it to a point where an expert, and when I say an expert, I'll then refer to myself, the person that actually studied that, who would then be able to
Mm.
take it further and make sure that it complies with whatever regulations that we need to comply with.
Mm. Mm. That also displays the unity, not
Correct.
just like in the business, but also in the family structure.
Yes.
So, because it's very interlinked.
Mm.
So unity is very important, and also supporting each other. Like as you said, if someone isn't very knowledgeable in a certain area, and you are, teach them so that they can also assist you when need be, which is very important.
Correct. Very
Because
true.
some people want to be the only person that is knowledgeable in that field because they may feel like their position may be taken away from them. So those are goes back to how you guys are raised in terms of
Yeah.
having that unity, also displayed in the business.
And my thing would be to say, if someone were to behave in that way, would be, or act in that way in terms of fearing that their position would be obsolete, would be, how do you, what would grant you that, how can I put it, what makes you think that someone is going to come and take your role? Who's going to take it?
Mm,
And why,
mm,
and why would we take it away from you? Where is it
mm,
going to? You know,
mm,
it's
mm,
not like I'm gonna go and hire someone else to come and do it.
mm,
Because that would mean that I'd have to pay that other person, because right now everything that is generated is solely for the business and it's solely for the family. It's not like you're gonna get a salary at the end of the month, so you can't say that your role is at jeopardy by sharing your knowledge. Or it's not like I'm gonna come through and Trump and say no, and say no, I'll take it from here, basically, because I know more than you in whatever field that you're working on.
mm,
It doesn't help in any way, shape, or form. It's not corporate. It's a family business at
mm,
the end of the day. And when you
mm,
say, and when you invoke, say, your voting right, for example, I have to listen, because at the end of the day, you are the director of the business.
mm, mm. It's just I know in a lot of when there's a lot of family disputes that comes up where it's a case of
Mm,
no, I'm the only person that is an expert in this. I'm
mm,
important. And then when there's
mm,
rivalry, I'm more important than you. And as
mm,
you were saying, when it comes to a family business, it's not operated like corporate. So people shouldn't have that mindset of, this is corporate, I'm running it like my 9 to 5 or the way corporate companies are run. It's
Mm.
based off of values and morals and the way you are brought up. So that shouldn't be so far-fetched.
Yeah, and to add on to that, where you are important, it's when you are stating your case. If I'm saying
Mm,
that we need a budget of 100,000 rand to plow
mm,
or to fence or repairs on the farm, at
mm,
that point in time, I am important. That's where you can say, no, guys, I am the expert now.
mm,
It's not me as a partner in the business, but it's my expertise that are actually being articulated right now. This this is this is now my knowledge background that I'm putting forth, and this is what we need to look out for, and everyone will understand.
mm.
So
Okay.
there
So,
are moments where you have to be quote unquote selfish. And
mm,
when I mean that, I mean where you actually have to say, guys, I'm an expert in this, and this is what you need to hear. You need to understand it, and that's how it needs to be done, and that's what it is. Take it or leave it.
but it's selfish to benefit everyone, to benefit the whole. So
Correct.
at some point, everybody is gonna have that spotlight. To
Yes.
say that now
Everyone has a
I'm the
time. Everyone has a time to shine. Everyone
mm,
has a time to shine. Literally, everyone, they have a time to shine. Sales might not shine while we're busy planting and preparing land, but when the harvest is done and we need to move units, sales shines, and they will
mm,
give us strategies as to how to execute them. And we all know that it's time to listen to sales. Mm.
mm. Okay, okay, okay. So you guys seem very supportive of each other, which is very important in a family
Correct.
business. But what are the other support structures that you guys have either built or you guys have leaned on?
In terms of business, né?
Yes, but it's
Yes.
interlinked. So, mm,
Yeah. No, other structures that I can think of would be external finances or external funding
okay.
from a business perspective. Filling
Mm,
out tons and tons of applications to your youth development, because the company is a youth company. Um,
mm,
because more than 50% of the business is youth. So getting external funding from your government agencies, your NYDs, your grant facilities, filling out those applications to your Department of Agriculture, for them to assist in development, writing proposals to your incubators, for them to provide you with skills development for your team.
mm,
Those are the other structures that we've sort of had to source externally apart from us within, because there are certain things that, yes, you may know your field and you may know it very well, and you may have graduated, but when it's time to execute that from a business perspective, it always plans or plays out um, differently than what you know from your books. And that's where your incubators come through. Your um, yeah, your business development programs. That's when they come through, and then they help you guys out.
what's a life hack that you've implemented?
What's a life hack that I've learned?
Yes.
Um, it's much more fulfilling doing something yourself than having other people do it for you. And why do I say that? And it's not necessarily a life hack, really. It's more motivation more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's much more fulfilling doing something yourself than having other people do it for you. In a sense that um, as you learn or working within the family business, you are allowed to make mistakes, and
Mm,
and in doing that and seeing the mistake that you made allows you to then rectify said mistakes, and you are better off making those mistakes yourself than having or paying a consultant to do whatever it is, and they hide those mistakes because they won't tell you what mess
mm,
ups they made. I remember when I was registering the business at SARS to get our
mm,
SARS stuff up and running. A lot of people approached and they said, no, we can do it for you and whatnot and whatnot. And um, they they would sell you these dreams and telling you that it's gonna cost you 5,000 rand, for example. And then you
yeah.
go and you do the research yourself and you figure out and you realize that it is not 5,000 rand to do whatever it is that they are offering you or whatever it
Mm,
is that you're trying to resolve. In most cases, it costs less than $100 to sort out. I understand that you're also
mm,
paying for service, for them actually, or admin for them to actually do whatever it is that they are charging you or whatever it is that you need done for. But in most cases, the life hack would be research. Research everything and
yeah,
anything.
I agree.
Don't trust people when they tell you that they can do something for free, and don't trust people when they tell you they can do something just because, well, they have and especially, and it happens a lot in the infancy stages of the business where you don't know a lot and you want to
Mm,
register a business, and then you see at a mall somewhere there's a company out there that says that they can register your business and they can get you tax clearance certificates, and they say that you can charge and they'll charge you say 10,000 rand, for example, and they tell you it's a one-stop shop for everything. Do your research, because you'll find that registering a business is only 175 rand, and registering at
mm,
SARS doesn't cost anything. Getting a tax clearance from SARS doesn't cost anything. Maintaining your records of your business doesn't cost anything except for the 100 rand that you need to pay to CIPC, depending on your
mm,
revenue thresholds. Um, Life hack is research. Research everything. Take out the time and research something. No more, and when you do it yourself, like I said, when you do it yourself, it's more fulfilling than it is to get someone else to do it for you.
and what is it that you hope the future generations would learn from you guys' career choices in terms of operating the family business, having your own job? What would be your message?
Um, Career choice plays a crucial role in the long term of you as an individual, more than um, the instant gratification of, say, for example, you're going into varsity and you want to study
Mm,
whatever, and it's going to take you a short term or short period to get that qualification. But whatever it is that you're studying, at least how we looked at it was that beyond a 9 to 5, what skills is what I'm studying going to assist me in being able to either start my own business. A fallback plan is what you need to keep in mind when you are selecting your career, and planning out your life. I know from a young age, even I myself, it wasn't in mind that what can I do with my qualification beyond studying and beyond 9 to 5. That sort of came in while I was working, and um you'd see gaps within an industry, and it's like, I'm glad that I made the choices that I made in terms of studying, because it allows me to then diversify my capacity from your 9 to 5 to personal business and stuff like that. So always think forward instead of now. And I know, yes, we all think forward. No one will say, yeah, I'm only thinking about tomorrow for whatever it is that I'm studying. We all think long term, but have a serious sit down with yourself or whomever that you want to speak to. It could be your parents, whoever. But have a sit down and think that, say, for example, you lose your job tomorrow. With your qualification, or with your with your qualification, how can the skills that you've learned there assist you in finding your feet and not relying on your typical 9 to 5? That's what you always need to keep in mind. If you're in medicine, you know that you can only start a practice of your own. You know it's there. It's there. It's the funding might not be there to get it up and running, but there are avenues where you can actually, like I said, well, we were talking earlier on, that there are avenues where you can write to these forms online. There's companies out there that provide you funding that will assist you in creating your own GP.
Thank you so much to Thabiso Madonsela for sharing insights on the Amathimande Group and also reminding us to always have a plan B, long term, to not only think now but also think long term in terms of generating generational wealth for ourselves and for those who come after us, for our family members. Thank you so much to the listeners and also viewers for listening and watching this episode of Intent. Until next time, let's keep living with intent. Goodbye.